So now let's look at the challenges here and tell you whether or not these are easy or hard enough to do. So I'm looking at Cerebi right now. This is their current version of the challenges list. They first show all the most recent ones that have been added, which is related to the Scarlet Violet Indigo Disc and the Mochi Mayhem. So yeah, these are the most recent ones here. So I'm gonna say this. This is gonna be assuming that you have the Switch games have access to the Switch, or at least access to one of Scarlet and Violet, one of Sword and Shield, Legends Arceus, one of BDSP, and one of Let's Go. If you have at least five, these 5 games are good. But and it's also assuming that Bank might actually go down soon. So here's what all the current challenges, and I don't want to say rate them, but say which ones are easy or hard. So first off is these ones, which if you have DLC, you should just get them get them somewhat easily. You get them sooner or later. Some are version exclusives, so you might have to deal with those soon. But and then fill in the Pokedexes for Kitakami and for Blueberry. We'll get to those. So we'll get to those. I'm gonna explain a little bit more of those a little bit. So first off is deposit Pokemon with certain natures. By deposit, it does mean that you get to go from your game and then put them in home. So this is not like, have to register them with certain natures. You actually actively put them in home. At least I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Correct me if I'm wrong. But these should be easy. Just there are literally like 1,025 Pokemon plus some alternate forms, and maybe you might get some duplicates. So getting 10 of each nature should be relatively easy. So easy that you wouldn't even realize it. Deposit 30 Ditto, again, it shouldn't be that hard. Lots of games, I think almost every of those games has Ditto to some extent. Same thing with Pikachu. I'm pretty sure that every Switch game has Pikachu to some extent. Deposit Pokemon has the Mightiest Mark. Right now, it's not that hard to have Pokemon with the Mightiest Mark. However, this entirely depends on if you already are prepared for the Mightiest Mark. If you have the the Pokemon needed to actually beat the Mightiest Mark. Yeah, just assume that you could beat it, and I assume that Scarlet isn't going to go away with the Mightiest Mark anytime soon. So for now, it's relatively easy, but not that easy. But it's relatively easy compared to some of the harder ones. And there may be a point in which it might actually be difficult, but for right now, it's not that bad. Deposit Run for Gimmighoul. Just so you know, there's going to be a point where you will need to deposit Pokemon from Go. Might as well make it roaming Gimmighoul. Deposit Pokemon in general, again, if you're going to 100% home, this is bound to happen anyway, so no big deal here. And now deposit 30 Pokemon in specific Pokeballs. Again, if you have each respective game, it shouldn't be that hard. However, this does include Cherish Ball, which you do need at least 10 Pokemon in Cherish Balls. Cherish Balls are mainly for event Pokemon if you do this legally. So you need to have 10 different event Pokemon in Luxury Balls and Cherish Balls to complete this mission. And for most of the rest of these, the History Pokeballs shouldn't be that hard because you can easily craft hundreds and hundreds of them very easily without any issue. And for the rest of the Pokeballs can easily be done in Scarlet and Violet in the Blueberry Academy. This does include balls like even the Master Ball, the Apricorn Balls, but the big one is the Sport and Safari Ball. Originally, these are the two hardest ones because, it's really hard to get Pokemon in Spark Balls other than in Heart Gold, Soul Silver. Exactly. So that this used to be one of the harder challenges, but with Sword and Shield you get one Chromatic, but it's again really hard to get them, but it's not that hard. And with the Pokelotto thing, it's actually relatively easy to get these. So and same with Safari Ball. So it shouldn't be that hard anymore to deal with those. That being said, I wouldn't say the same thing for the display the ultimate in each of the contest stats. I will recommend the most do this in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire because those two games have unlimited feeding of Pokeblocks, so meaning it's very easy to maximize all 5 stats of a contest stats for one Pokemon. Since I do recommend doing it from there. You could do it in BDSP, but it's not as easy because I need to worry about Sheen, which is right here. So yeah, I do recommend doing this for Auras, and then move them up to a BDSP to just feed a ton of really bad Poffins so you can get the ultimate Sheen. And just so you know, the ultimate Sheen is necessary to get the Twinkling Star mark, which is a mission here. It'll show up soon enough here. Next up, another relatively difficult one, Register Shiny Deposit Shiny Pokemon. So you have to deposit Shiny Pokemon in there. Again, so Shiny Pokemon are easier and easier to obtain. It can be rough, but registering 10 Shiny Pokemon can be made easy. Like, I guess one easy way to do it is that since you're guaranteed a Shiny Ponyta early-ish on in Legends Arceus, what you could do is, go get a Ponyta there, deposit it, and then restart Legends Arceus and do it 9 times to get 9 guaranteed Shinies relatively early on. So, and then you deposit all the rest of the 9 ones, and then you get this challenge done. That's just a suggestion of mine. You don't have to do it, or you just find them naturally. Because there's some really hard ones in here that makes this look relatively easy. And now the big one. So, I mentioned not, needing to worry about getting the crowns of the Pokedexes, because those are required challenges anyway. So, because not only is getting fill in the Pokedexes required anyway as is, but they're also challenges. So, I mean, they're required in 2 different areas. So, again, we start earlier with the Kitakon Blueberries. This is one for Sword and Shield. Base. This is for... this is Crown Tundra. This is Base. This is Hisui. This is Aloe Armor. This is Let's Go Kanto. This is Base Paldea. This is BDSP. And this... that's Roget. Next up, some... weird thing here. I don't know exactly if it specifically requires Pokemon from the Alola games or Alola Pokemon. I'm pretty sure it just means you have to deposit Pokemon obtained in Alola, which may be difficult due to a potential shutdown of bank. It's not going to come down yet. Bank's not come down yet, but it may be a little hard. But however, this says register, so you don't have to deposit them yourself. You just ask people to do it for you. So likewise, the rest of these are going to be registering. So it means that you don't have to do it yourself. You could just ask someone else to trade with you the necessary forms. But so some of these aren't that hard to do. You could just do them yourself. Next up is register all the forms of Vivian. This may be difficult actually. Some may be easier than others. If you play Go, it may or may not be easy. If you play Go, you can send Postcard, Scarlet, Violet, and then all the video from there can be made into the color thing you want. However, note this is 18. There are 20 patterns of Vivian. So because this was made before Scarlet and Violet, the challenge does not assume that you would have the fancier Pokeball pattern. However, because Scarlet and Violet, the base Vivian is fancy, you can just register the fancy from Scarlet and Violet and 17 others. You could probably omit Sandstorm because the the region for it is in the Middle East, which may or may not be difficult for some. Or you don't have to register monsoon, which is from India, or ocean, or which is from for several islands. Uh, so yeah, you can register fancy and like 17 others. Most of those are easy to find. Don't worry about those. You can just find, ask go to Twitter and just ask people like, go, hey, I kind of use my friend code and let all the people from Japan and from U.S. and from everywhere else. I say those specifically because if you go to Twitter and just put out your code, you're gonna bound to find a bunch of Japanese and American people exactly. But you may find some interesting things. Anyway, but yeah, this is relatively difficult. But at least the challenge does not assume the challenge does not assume that you have to have Pokemon pattern. However, Pokemon pattern is necessary for the for 100%. But again, there's a reason why I'm not saying not to worry about it. If you have an Alola game, well, you can just scan those and then not be worried about it. But just saying that it's not as hard as you think it might be. Next up to Dunsparce. Again, it's maybe hard. It's a little tedious. It takes long, but it's not hard. Mausol, it takes a while. It's not that hard. Shining hunting them is hard, but it's not that hard. It just takes long. Then there's a bunch of stuff that you're just gonna complete the challenges anyway. If you start filling up Pokedex, filling up your forms decks, you're gonna bound to get those anyway. Like registering 20 fossils, 20 unknowns, 3 Paldean Tauruses, Tatsugiris, Squawk ability, the Treasure of Ruin, Oricorio, Ultra Beast. Look, it's just 5, but if you're gonna get all of them anyway, you're gonna get this anyway. Rotom, Minior. Those are you're just gonna get anyway as you complete your form decks. So, and a lot of these are from Scarlet and Violet, so they're not that hard to get. Actually, some of them are exclusive to Scarlet and Violet. Anyway, next up, registering abilities. There are currently 306 abilities, but you need 200 for the challenge. But you still need to get 306 for the ability decks. So, next up, register Alcremie. You're going to get this anyway. And next, registering all the starter Pokemon that trainers can choose in each of the regions except for Paldea. And luckily, you can get those, get all of these very easily in Scarlet and Violet. So those are not an issue anymore. They used to be an issue, but they're not an issue anymore. Next up, registering Alphas. Yeah, just registering Alphas. So you just need to enter at least one, it seems. And then registering all Applins and its evolutions, registering Arceus itself. So yeah, there's going to be some challenges that require you to deposit whatever the box art Pokemon. So in Arceus cases, it's Arceus. And for Pokemon Blue, Japan, it's Blastoise. For Fire Red, it's Charizard. It has to be Charizard from FRLG. And this is registering Charizard from Gen 1 Virtual Console. So yeah, there are a lot of challenges that involve you having the box art Pokemon from the game they're from. Some of these are easy, some of these are hard. Like, again, for example, I'm going to assume that this is actually hard because Fire and Leaf Green is a really, really old game. There's stuff for Ruby and Sapphire as well. So I can imagine this might actually be difficult due to needing either needing that old game and then registering them all the way from Gen 3 to Gen 4 to Gen 5 to bang to home, or have someone who's already done all of that. So, and for this, this might actually be difficult for newer players to do because of, well, not everyone has the Virtual Console games anymore because they're discontinued, unfortunately. Then there's this, which involves registering all Cosmon and all its forms from Alola game, from any Alola game, get their battle forms when they use their signature moves. Next up is registering a certain number of each type of Pokemon. Now, I'm going to say this right now, something I just now found out. Now, Cerebi has the Sword and Shield icons for these types. However, last I checked, and it turns out that they actually have 2 stickers each. one for the Sword and Shield one, for the Scarlet and Violet one. So these are actually 2 stickers you get out of these. But the number you get for registering them is correct each time. So, for example, for bug types, you get the once you deposit 60 register 60 bug types, you get the bug type icon from Sword and Shield, and then you also get the bug type icon from Scarlet and Violet. It's not shown here, but it is there. There's more examples of box art Pokemon. Next up is okay, this one might actually be different because not only does it require you to have Dialga, Palkia, and Giratina from Gen 4 Sinnoh, it means you have to play Gen 4 Sinnoh. This might be one of the harder ones because you have to play Gen 4 Sinnoh, or at least know someone who has played Gen 4 Sinnoh, because Gen 4 Sinnoh sucks balls. Anyway, registering Eevee Evolutions shouldn't be that hard. Eevee's in every Pokemon game. Like, Eevee and Evolution are in every Pokemon game. Well, nearly every Pokemon game. So it's not that much of a big deal to do. So just so you know, for registering Eevee from Let's Go, since you cannot register the partner Pokemon, you can just register any regular Eevee that you find Pikachu, same thing. Since they're still, I wouldn't say easy to find everywhere, at least not Eevee's case. But they're obtainable as regular wild Pokemon, so don't have to worry about that. Next up, registering some more types. Registering the 3 Galarian birds. Again, you need Sword and Shield DLC for those. Registering Giratina from Gen 4 Sinnoh. At that point, if you're going to get this guy, and you somehow manage to get this guy and Palkia, you already get these, so cool. It does say you have to register all of those from these old games, but it doesn't say you have to register all of them all at the same time. It doesn't say you have to register them all at the same time, you just need to have to register them. Next up, some more box art legends. Again, some ancient box art legends here. And just so you know, if you don't recognize these box art, these actually are the box art, but for the Japanese games. So that's why, red, blue, and I think you can see Venusaur later down the line. Red, blue, green, and yellow. These are all using the Japanese box arts. That's why this is the Japanese box art for Fire Red, even though Fire Red and everywhere else looks different than this. Just so you know, they're Japanese. Again, registering the Hisuian starters, sure, more box arts, more types. Now this one, registering some of the Paradox Pokemon. Again, you'll get those as you go completing your form decks. As you're not your living deck, you're just registering Pokemon. You'll get to it as you get to it. More box art legendaries. Registering Meloetta. Now this one's interesting. So in Scarlet and Violet you can get Meloetta. So again, it's not hard anymore, but it used to be pretty hard. As you can tell, the reward for it is a little weird. That's because the reward is a Sea Gear skin. Who doesn't know what the Sea Gear is? It's the bottom screen of Gen 5. And you do certain things with Gen 5. The Sea Gear is the bottom screen for it. Kind of how the Pokédex was in Diamond and Pearl, and how the really good touchscreen on Heart Gold Soul Silver. This is it for for Unova games. You'll see more of this soon enough. You'll see more of this later. But just so you know, this is relatively easy now, but it used to not be. So next up, some oddballs here. Registering each of the starter lines from Oraz. So registering the Mudkip line, the Trico line, and the Torchic line. Each gives you an image of their megas. So here you go. Registering Ogerpon. Remember, you're gonna need to get Ogerpon, then deposit Ogerpon, and then and I believe all you do is just Ogerpon one time. It'll have all of the all its forms registered. So just need to Ogerpon one time. Pretty good. Next up, the registering moves. So there is no challenge of just registering moves, but there is a challenge of registering each different type of category of move. Now, from what I checked, I could be wrong, that there are currently 827 moves registerable in Pokemon Home. There's 220 for physical, and you'll get to see some of the others soon enough. So you do need to register a lot of moves. So got to you know once you complete your move decks, this shouldn't be an issue. But just so you know, this is giving me a lot with just to do the challenge. This one I would consider difficult because all of these are event Pokemon. I think if I'm mistaken, there's one in the Alola that is that doesn't have an end date. But again, in the event that Bank shuts down, then it would have an end date. But right now it doesn't. But for most of the other ones, they do have an end date. They're event Pokemon that passed a long time ago. But again, if you somehow manage to get completing your form decks, you will eventually have to come across the Hat Pikachu. So just be careful with that. This is a little hard one, but if you manage to do your form decks, you should get this no problem. The Twinkling Star Ribbon. Now, so I'm gonna focus on Twinkling Star Ribbon specifically because this is actually the second to last challenge that I completed. Because first of all, it requires you to play BDSP. You would kind of imagine why that's a problem. Two, it required me to actually get the highest amount of Sheen on a Pokemon that already completed all of the other contests. And third of all, even then, it's not that easy. So it wasn't entirely easy. It just takes a long time. It's not that easy either. So what I did in that one was I shiny hunted the Aeron line in Omega Ruby. So I was going to do it anyway for shiny living decks. Use one of those Aerons to get the Twinkling Star Ribbon. It was not easy. It was not. It just takes too long. But just so you know, that one's a bit of a pain. This, for example, your effort levels maxed. Again, shouldn't be that hard. Legends Arceus to keep shoving all of these grit stuff onto them, so not that hard, but it will take a while, but it will not that hard. So more box arts. Again, some of these might be more difficult than others. Like for example, for the Black 2 White 2, you do need to get Kyurem and want either Reshiram or Zekrom. Now I've heard that I don't know if it's correct or not, but it doesn't really matter which. If you had Black and White 2. If you have one Black and White 2, I think it also registers this. Anyway, I've heard that if you deposit Reshiram from Black and White 2, I think it will register this anyway. That's what I've heard. I don't know if it's correct or not. Anyway, registering Shaman. So if the Shaman's a little bit, I'll say difficult. Because if you have Go and you deposit Shaman, you get this. Also, if you have the event that passed for BDSP, you can get that, no problem, sure. And now for what I consider a actually hard one that used to be extremely hard. This one runs a Shine Genesect. Now, why is this one actually difficult? Because one, as you can see here, it's also a Sea Gear skin, which means that it was originally intended to be for a Gen 5 event. But not just any Gen 5 event. This guy was originally meant that you need to get a specific Shiny Genesect event from the Wicked Mewtwo movie, the Genesect movie, in Japan only. Yeah, I need to have a Japanese event to get this guy originally. And remember, this was made before Sword and Shield. Technically, it's made during Sword and Shield. But the point is that Genesect wasn't in base game Sword and Shield. So, you need to originally get this guy. And plus, Genesect wasn't in Go when this was originally made. So, you need to wait a while. I don't remember when Genesect was available in Go, let alone Shining Genesect. But you can get Shining Genesect in Go. I did not because I don't care. I just hacked one a long time ago to get this guy. Anyway, was it? Me asking Chris to do so. Anyway, yeah, this used to be extremely, extremely difficult. Now it's not as difficult, but it's still hard. Because you need, first of all, if you don't have this already, you need to have someone who hacked it, got the actual event, go find Blaines or Light or whoever does giveaways for this thing, or find it and go. Good luck with that. So I just say that's one of the hardest challenges here. Registering a shiny Metagross. Now, similarly to what I mentioned with Genesect, this guy was originally meant for, I believe I'm mistaken, the ORAS demo. However, because Metagross is available in Sword and Shield and available in BDSP, is available in Scarlet and Violet, you can just shiny hunt this and be okay with it. It's not as hard as that. It's also originally meant for something special, but it's not anymore. Plus, shiny Metagross is really cool, so I don't mind in doing having that as a challenge. This you'll get to worry about those. You'll come across those, but again, more box art legendaries. Getting each of the different seasons of Stealing the Saucebuck against Scarlet and Violet. This actually, again, used to be a really hard one because it used to be Unova only. Because Deerling and Saucebuck weren't available before Scarlet and Violet in the Switch games. So, and because, again, this was made before Scarlet and Violet, this used to be rather difficult, but it's not difficult at all anymore. So this should be easy for you if you manage to, complete the Pokedex Scarlet and Violet. So, again, this is not that hard either. The pods that start out to be doing Bebro from BDSP, again, they're all early game Pokemon. Well, they're Final Evolution early game Pokemon, but it shouldn't be that hard. Again, this might be a little difficult, but again, he doesn't specify you have to have Crystal, so you just need to have. It's recommended if you get this from Crystal Virtual Console, but you don't have to. Register Terapagos, again, don't worry about if you can complete a Pokemon anyway, it's going to show up eventually. Registering the starters from BDSP. First of all, you need to play BDSP. Second of all, you need to try to get the starters and evolve them. I mean, if you have BDSP but really don't care about it, you could probably just find out to deposit, start a game, get a starter, deposit it, start over, get the other two, and then evolve them in your Legends Arceus or Scarlet and Violet. So then you get those. Plus, you're gonna have to do this anyway, so you're eventually gonna have to do this anyway. So you'll see. I think it shows it a little more down. Anyway, point is, register Trico, Torchic, and Mudkip from Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. This is their Emerald arts. So they specify, getting it from the Hoenn remake, so you can get their Emerald arts. Now again, might be difficult. It's not as difficult if you have the games. However, if you have one of the games, the one that has a Shining Charm, I think it's a good idea for you to not do it. But just so you know, you need to have the starters from Aura specifically get these, and likewise get the base form starters to get the Sinnoh Platinum art. But since you're gonna have to do this, get to this and get this, so might as well just deposit them from BSP and restart. And then once you get those three, get this, and then from there you evolve them somewhere, and then to get this. This shouldn't be an issue. You should get those as you play through Scarlet and Violet Kitakami, and then good luck getting Ursaluna either through Go or through actual Legends Arceus, because evolving it might take a while. Mentioned before, Venusaur, more box arts. Okay, so we are now done with all of the Pokemon challenges in home. Now, again, most of those should be regularly obtainable once you start completing your Pokedex in home. So start getting your Pokedex, get your Form Dex. You should regularly get these. Now, some may be more difficult than others due to the box art ones, but for most of those, it should be relatively easy as you keep going with those. And plus, it says registering them, so as long as if you don't have the games, but know someone who does, or know someone who has those Pokemon, it shouldn't be an issue to touch trade. And now it's time for... I'm going to skip the trade challenges for now because those are a pain. Now let's go to the others challenges. So, again, all of these are easy. Every single one of them is super easy. So, first up is change user icon 10 times. Easy. I mean, your trainer icon is whatever pro tag between Gen 1 and 5 you are. You can just change it 10 times. It's easy, done. Check the news 30 times. Again, shouldn't be an issue. I think I heard this was an issue before. Because sometimes news just won't show up. But again, this shouldn't be a problem. Create labels. Those are really easy to do, so no big deal. I'm going to skip this for now. Move Pokemon from BDSP to Legends Arceus and the reverse to get these respective backgrounds. Again, you need to have both those games, and then transfer one to another back. Again, if you have those, easy. Mystery gifts. I'll get to that in a second. Save up 100 Pokemon home points. Do you know how easy it was for me to get 99,999 points? When 100 is a breeze. So, honestly, that is like, you wouldn't even notice that you complete that if you just keep depositing Pokemon. Spend 2 months on home as like a daily thing. Well, you don't need to have a daily thing. You just need to spend 60 days on home. Honestly, again, this is no big deal because even I wouldn't, have all my Pokédex completed in 60 days. So this will take the longest to do, more or less, like just by the nature it needs 60 days. But again, you wouldn't realize you're done with it until you're done with it. Speech recognition, yes, that's a thing at home. Just need to set it up. You don't actually have to use it. There's a way to set it up, but again, it's kind of weird. I don't know if there are ways for you to have a phone or something that is unable to have speech recognition. I don't know how that will work because the phone needs to have voice to work. But I've heard people on the JMash Discord that hasn't done this challenge. They know how it worked, but it's actually a very simple one. And last thing here, this is a very random one. Withdraw Butterfree. You don't get Butterfree at home natively. You get Pikachus and some starters. But withdrawing Butterfree of all Pokemon is kind of weird. I mean, it's there. And now not finally, let's do the trade challenges. So, here come the trade challenges. Now, a lot of those involve you trading one Pokemon for its counterpart. So, as you can see, all trade Arcanine and Sui variant, Armored Sterilized or counterparts. So mostly just counterpart trades. Out of all of these, the hardest one for me personally was Koraidon and Miraidon, because I don't want to trade legendaries with randoms. Now, for most of the rest of these, you can just go to GTS, deposit one of these Pokemon, and then ask for its counterpart, and it shouldn't be that hard for you to get them. So I suggest going to GTS and depositing one form and to get the other very easily. And as you can probably tell, this is my favorite sticker in the game. Gee, I wonder why. But also one of those trades is between Nidorina and Gengar to get the iconic startup screen for Gen 1. That's cute. Because most of these are just artwork. Artwork of these two, but this one is just a classic. So I appreciate them for that. So, what I'm about to say next is trade the same Pokemon. Again, not that hard to do. So this is actually not that hard to do. You get to deposit something kind of lame, like a Caterpie or something, ask for a Caterpie. And then just, you get that. People may not want to trade the same Pokemon with the same Pokemon, because most of those are all enamorous or something. But, it shouldn't be that hard for you to, I'm going to ask for the trade for the same Pokemon. Shouldn't be that hard. Some more of these. So now it's time for mentioning all of these weird shapes. Okay, so I'm going to start backwards. Trade using the Wonder Box. If I'm thinking the free version of Pokemon Home, you get 3 slots, I think, if I'm mistaken. And for the premium, you get 10. You do need 50 of those, so it will take a while, take a few hours for you to do. But again, it'll eventually get to it. Trade using the GTS. This may be a little weird, but again, if you're gonna start doing these on GTS, these will add up. So, it shouldn't be that hard big deal if you keep doing these things through GTS. So this will pile up. I'm skipping this for now. What else is left? I'm skipping this for now. Okay, deposit 10 Pokemon at once in the Wonder Box. Okay. This may be a little hard for people who are broke. I mean, I'm broke, but even I have the premium Pokemon Home. So this, I believe, is the only challenge in Pokemon Home that specifically requires you to have the premium service. Because trading 10 Pokemon once in the Wonder Box specifically requires the premium thing. If it's a yearly service, just so you know, or I think it can be monthly too. But if you pay for it just one time, or if for whatever reason there's some sort of like deal going on, if like might give you I don't know, a month or so of, or even a year or so of Pokemon Home for free somehow, use that time to get this. And now let's go for the final boss of Pokemon Home. So let's start it. The room trades. So the room trades are very, very difficult to do. Some of those aren't that hard. Like, for example, trade using a room trade. You just go to the random free trade rooms, and then just not leave for 50 times. It should be good. Now, I believe for free users you get like a few, and for premium you get 10 per day. So for the free trade rooms, for the normal trade rooms it's infinite. So again, if you're having trade room issues, either you wait a long time or just be in a trade room in which there are people willing to stick around for a long time. Hint, hint, I'm doing that. Next up is the host room trades. Now this one you're gonna need a little coordination for, because you're gonna need a little coordination because you're gonna need at least like 3 people to have a trade room, and you need to be the specific host. This is different from the final boss. Whereas the final boss, you just to be in a trade room that has this condition. This one you need to actually have a host it. So remember, you need to be like you need to be the host. You need to be the one to give out the trade room code sort of thing. That's the host. So you need to have 20 of those. And now, finally mention the final boss of Pokemon Home. Host a room trade with 20 people in it. Okay. It is theoretically possible to do this with the free trade rooms. I will not recommend it though, because it's very easy, believe it or not, to get 19 out of 20 people in the trade rooms, but never 20 out of 20. Maybe you might get the 20 out of 20 once in a few blue moons. But yeah, this one you specifically would want to have rather coordination to do the room trade 20 people in it. You need to have some sort of communication with a bunch of other people, preferably maybe like some sort of maybe a stream or something that people can come in, or even a Discord in which it's specifically made to do that particular trade challenge, and have people be willing enough to stick around in trade rooms enough for you to get the 20 people in it. Gee, I wonder if I did that twice and managed to get this. Anyway, those are all the trades necessary for 100% Pokemon Home. But let's go talk about these guys for a second. Okay, so these guys over here are the legacy challenges. Or that's what Cerebi calls them, legacy challenges. Now, these challenges are hidden by default for specific reasons. And honestly, I think these should not be the only ones there. There should be other ones that deserve to be here more than those. You'll know why exactly in a second. So, these ones are kind of unavailable for whatever reason. Be it a possibility of bank closing down, which is the first one, or related to very specific events, worldwide events that have already passed, like Diancie, or like Power Snorlax. I have both, by the way, so you can ask. I will try both of these. But the weird part for me personally are why is Register EV borrow using Poké Transporter and Register Liquid borrow Poké Transporter here? Granted, these ones are very specifically wants to use Poké Transporter, meaning for Liquid specifically, you have to be brought over from a Unova game, which you're gonna have to do anyway, or if you want to do like a freaking Origin Dex. For those who are interested in doing Origin Dexes, you're gonna get this one anyway, and get the Machoke anyway. But bring over Eevee. You can get remember Eevee. You can get through multiple ways. You can get it through like Fire and Leaf. You can probably find Eevee as like a gift. You can find it in Sinnoh, the Trophy Garden. In Black 2 White 2, you can get it like at a very difficult area in the Castelia Park. We can go through the sewer wars and go up sort of thing. This small patch of grass with a tree on it. I've done this, by the way. Get the 5% EV from it, and then bring it over through Poké Transporter. Anti-Antes and an X and Y event. Now, in Poké Snorlax, for those who don't know, in a Sun and Moon event, okay, get 2016. In a Sun and Moon event, you can get a Munchlax that has a Snorlium Z. Evolve that Munchlax, put it in home, and you get this. You get this Snorlax. This is not register a pulverizing pancake to the move. It would be interesting if it was, but it's not. So you can register a very specific event Munchlax that you have to evolve before doing this. I guess it's a little convoluted, but honestly, this is not like these two are not, and this doesn't need to be legacy challenge because you're gonna need to find Pokemon from older games in this. Where is let's find where's Groudon. You're gonna register this anyway, and this you need to require Pokemon Bank anyway. You need to require Transporter anyway. So, and plus, there are no ways to get Generation 3 Hoenn anywhere except the actual cartridges or ROMs of those games. So it's not like those are easily obtainable in anywhere else. I mean, you can't get it in the 3DS Ambassador program. That's not a thing. You can't get it through Switch Online. That's not a thing. So, or it may not be a thing yet. It might show up eventually, or it may show up in a Switch successor. I hope so. That'd be cool. But no, not that. But I guess they're not considered legacy challenges because this is assuming that there will be a point in which Pokemon Home is still alive while you can also play the older games on newer systems. I assume that that's the reason why these are legacy challenges and not those. But I'm just saying that some of those ones I mentioned should be legacy challenges. Alright, that is it for all the challenges shown in Pokemon Home.